Well, welcome back everyone to our series on building out your first AI agent. And boy, have we done a lot so far in this series. We've set up our chat trigger, we put together our AI agent, and we've connected some memory and a brain, which in our case, we're using ChatGPT for that. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos, go back and watch those first and get caught up to where the rest of us are. I'll leave a little card, a link up here in the corner where you can click on it. I'll also put one down in the description too, if that's easier. And that'll get you caught up to where we are today. But for everybody else, let's get a reminder of what it is that we're building here. And also for those of you who are thinking through, hey, do I want to be part of this series or not? I've set up a fake company called Slab and Stone Concrete Craftsman, and we are building an AI agent that will sit on your website just like a traditional chat bot used to do, but this one will be able to sell and bring in leads for your company 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a very useful application of using AI agents. And so what we're going to do in this section of the training is we're going to add your Gmail account to this process, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that if they have a question when they come to the website, if there's something that the AI agent maybe can't answer or isn't answering well enough, or if they just are at a point where they're ready to schedule a time to talk to someone to get a solid bid on a project they're working on, we want to be able to easily route them to the right person. And so over here in Tools, this is a really great feature of N8N and their agent builder is that they give you access to a ton of tools in here, just about everything you can think of. And what we're going to do here in the search is just type in Gmail, okay? And we're going to connect our Gmail tool. And just like in the previous videos, until we connect our account, it's going to give us that red X and tell us that there's nothing that they can do. And so we need to set up some credentials. So we're going to do that in just a second. But before I go any further, I want to tell you that you may be in a position where you don't want to email support, or you don't want to email somebody that in your company. You may want to send them a text message, or you may want to send it directly to a WhatsApp or a Telegram account or a Slack. And you don't want to use email, you want to use one of those tools. Well, the great thing about this is we have those options here. So if I type in Slack, there's a Slack tool. If I type in Telegram, there's a Telegram tool. If I type in WhatsApp, there's a WhatsApp tool. So just everything that we're doing here with Gmail, we can do with one of those other tools just by simply setting it up the correct way. But we're going to do it the easy way because this is a beginner level training. And I'm just going to open up this node by double clicking on it just like I did the last time. And you'll see there are several things here that we're going to have to do. The first thing we got to do is set up our credentials. The good thing is this one is probably the easiest one ever. So we're going to click on Create New Credential. And then it's going to give us this OAuth 2 recommended. That's just, it's a new way of authenticating that's super easy. So all we're going to do is just click on Sign into Google. I'm going to click on My Account. It's going to say, hey, do you want to give access to this? Yes, you do. And then boom, we're successful. Everything's been set up correctly. And now when we come back, we get the green bar here telling us, yep, everything's good. And we're just going to exit out of this. Now our account's set up. There's nothing else that we have to do here. Now, as we scroll down here, you're going to see there are some different things that we can do. Don't worry about tool description. There's different resources here like labeling, drafting, threads. We're going to leave that on message because what we're going to do is when someone says they want to speak to somebody about a project they're working on, we want to send an email to a specific person inside the company. Okay. Now, under operation, as I said before, we can do lots of different things with this tool. We can delete emails, we can get a bunch of emails, we can mark them as read or as unread, we can label them or remove a label from them. There's lots of things that we can do, but all we want to do is just send an email. Now, who are we going to send it to? Now, there are two ways that we can do this. The first way is to what we call hard coding it. So we can just type in an email address that we want it to do. And that's what I'm going to type in here. I'm just going to type in my email address. Okay. And then the subject line, we're not sure what they're going to be asking for, right? So during the conversation that's happening on your website with your AI agent and your potential customer, they may be wanting to know something and that's not specific. And so the cool thing about N8N is that we can click on this little starry thing here on the right, and we can let the AI agent decide what should be in the subject line. And so I'm going to click on that. And then in the conversation, when the AI agent is writing the email, it's going to decide what needs to go in the subject line. Now, you might not want to hard code that in. You might want to say, no, I want to know specifically, I want whoever is doing this to know that this is an email from the website. You got an inquiry from, if I could type, the website. Okay. This way, it's always the same. And this can be very useful because if you are, let's say you want to search or you want to do an alert for a specific email with a subject line, this can be very helpful. If you wanted to auto respond to a message saying, hey, we've sent an email to support, we just wanted to let you know it's on its way, or to our sales team, we can use this subject line as a way to search. And so I'll usually put something in the subject line that's the same for every single communication that they make from the website. Now, under email, this is where we do want to use let the model decide, because we want the AI agent to give us a brief description of what their question was, what they're looking to do, and then also give us their email address and their name so that we can respond to them accordingly. So in this case, we're going to just click on that let the model decide. And now, as this process happens, okay, what are we missing here? That should be fine. Let's refresh and see. Sometimes when things mess up, you just got to refresh. Oh, there it is. Now it fixed it. All right, yeah. So if you run into any hiccups, the N8N's like any other software, it does get buggy every once in a while. Just refresh. Make sure you save before you refresh, but save what you've done and then just refresh the page, and now everything looks like it's working correctly. Okay, so the next step in the process is we need to update our AI agent, because if you remember from our last training, when we set up our agent with our system prompt, all we did was we told it, hey, you're a website support agent with access to specific tools. And we didn't tell it what those specific tools are or what it's supposed to do with them. And so what we need to do now is we just need to give it that information. So specific tools, let's just say specific tools at your disposal. Okay. And then we're going to say one is send email, and that is use this tool to send emails to customer support referencing the user's questions and or concerns. Okay, so again, very common language, regular language. You're just going to talk to it like we would if we were telling an assistant or someone on our team, a human on our team, to do the work. So we're going to say send an email, use this tool to send email to customer reps. Okay, now we may want to do some other things in here, like tell it, hey, for example, if you say you want to talk to somebody on the team, we're probably going to need to ask for their information. And so what we should do in here is we should put in something that says if user, let's think about how when we say it, if user says they would like to speak to a team member or human, ask them if they would prefer a text or email. Okay. And actually, I'm just going to write this out and then I'll come back so you don't have to watch me write it all. Okay, so here's what I came up with. It says, if user says that they would like to speak to a team member or a human, ask them if they would prefer text or email. Because again, we'd love to get a phone number if we could. If we can't, we'll do email, but let's ask them and see. Some people actually prefer a text. If email, ask 2 questions. Question 1, great, what is your name? 2, great, what is the best email to reach you at? And then if text, ask 2 questions again. Great, what's your name? What's the best number to reach you at? Now, this is a sales tactic. I'll just give you a little bit on human psychology. The reason that we break it up into 2 questions is that the more questions that they answer, the longer the conversation, the more likely they are to make the next step. So if we could get the AI to say, ask them what their name and email is, or ask them what their name and phone number is, but we ask it in succession, there's a higher likelihood that we're going to get them to respond correctly. So we're just going to break it out like that. And that should get us there that should be good enough that the AI agent can respond. So let's test it out. Let's come back. Let's open up our chat and let's just say, I'd like to speak with someone about a new back patio. And you'll see it doesn't access the Gmail tool yet because it doesn't have email. It needs more information. It doesn't need that tool yet. It says, would you prefer to speak with a team member via text or email? Now, again, we're going to, in the refining process, we're going to clean up this language because this is kind of cold. What we want them to say is like, absolutely, no problem. Would you prefer text or email? And we're just going to say email. Now, in the case that we wanted it to do text rather than also do text, we'd have to add another tool. So we'd have to add like Twilio or some other messaging app that would be able to text message them. But we can always send an email and then have them respond via text. Okay, great. What's your name? Jason. Okay, great. What's the best email? Well, let's just say it's, where'd my memory go? Let's just say it is jasonstapleton.com. And now what should happen is it should access the email agent, which it did. It says, thank you, Jason. I forwarded your request onto a team member and someone will reach out to you shortly to discuss your new back patio. If you need any further assistance, please feel free. And then let's go to the email and see what it produced for me. So here's the email I got. It says, customer Jason would like to speak with someone about a new back patio. Please reach out to him at jason@jasonstapleton.com. So it's given me the context of the conversation, what they want to talk about, and it's given me the information that they've asked for. Now, the one thing we've got here at the bottom, it says send email. This email was sent automatically with N8N. A lot of people don't want that to be part of the process, and that's pretty easy to fix as well. We're just going to come in here to our agent, and down here at the bottom under options, we're going to click on this and just under append N8N attribution, click on that and then just shut it off. And that way that won't happen anymore. And inside of every one of these processes, so if I come back here to the agent and we take a look at this, what you're going to see on the left, as we kind of pointed this out before, but I want to give you more detail on it. So this is the chat message received. And the last chat message that came in was my email address. Okay. I also have some variables in here. It happened today, the time, and some of that other stuff. These things are helpful when we start building out more complex agents and we want to drag in variable information, like we want to add the time, we want to add those kind of things. Again, this is beginner tutorial, so I'm not going to get into that too much, but I do want you to understand that every one of these nodes has an input and it has an output. And the input always shows up on the left and the output shows up on the right. So it took this input, which is the chat messages and the collection of messages that came in, and this is what it outputted. Thank you, Jason. That's exactly what the chat just said. And I can look at this a couple of different ways. This schema way, this is really nice because if I want to drag other things in and have it do multiple things, I can do that. But most of the time, if you want to see what the output is, if you just look at the output, it'll show you exactly what happened there. But the concept here, the one thing I want you to understand is that there's an input and an output for everything that you do. Okay. And so that's it. Now we're set up with our Gmail tool. We can route emails when a customer or a potential customer asks us to, and we've updated our agent so that it knows exactly what tool it has a use for and what it can do with it. Last thing we want to do, and I just remembered this, and again, don't worry about all these little warning signs. It doesn't mean anything. If we click in here, actually, let's go in here. So I referred to in the system prompt, in the system message, I said the first tool you have is a send email tool. That's what I called it. We can relabel any one of these to say whatever we want. So up here at the top, this says send message in Gmail. We want to make this exactly the same as we put in the system prompt, so the system message. So we want to make this send email. Okay. So now this tool matches the name of the tool inside of our system prompt. And the reason for that, we just want to make it as easy as possible for the agent to understand what tools they have available. It will usually work if you don't, but if you start adding a bunch of different tools, a lot of times it can get confused about what tool does what. So by simply labeling it the right way, we solve that problem. But now we're all set up. The next thing that we need to do is we need to add another tool, a tool that gives our agent access to a database of information that it can use to answer questions and to try and route people in the right direction and just be the most useful agent that they can be. So that's what we're going to do in the next video. Now, if that video is out, you're going to see it pop up right here on the side. And if it's not, then make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that bell icon to make sure that you get notified when the next video comes out. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.